back again here with Shogun 2, full of the samurai. Scramble for the Far East. Once again, I'm playing as Prussia. And in the last turn, we're just invading, well, we were last episode actually invading the U faction, the faction I cannot pronounce for some reason. What am I doing? I'm trying to siege them out. If they come out to attack us, I will be very grateful, but I don't think they are. The balance bar is very much in our favor, and I'm just gonna siege them out. I'm not gonna assault the city directly because that'll be, I'd rather auto-resolve the city because it is much easier for me in terms of casualty-wise. As you can see right now, I'm just moving my troops left and right just to have, just to get them to the right armies. You can see I asked my geisha to entertain the nobles while I'm asking my military advisor to get to my general so he can help with replenishment. We are now studying ascetics, which will give us eventually a public order bonus, which is something that we really need, especially in the beginning and the late game. As of right now, I'm just putting my second army within reinforcement range of the city, and we're gonna auto-resolve it because I have no intention to fight it on the battlefield. And I'm pretty sure the auto-resolve is way better than in my own ability to attack and assault the city. And as a matter of fact, we got 2 light mortars that we captured, which is a very good trade-off for our auto-resolve. I'm gonna peacefully occupy the settlement, and it's getting a little bit laggy, but yeah, we peacefully occupied the settlement. And we encountered the United States, Noga, the Koga, and the Nubatai, I think. The Koga are at war. The United States are pretty peaceful, and the Nubatai are pretty peaceful. They're not at war with us. First thing off the bat, we have to repair a lot of the settlements. I am going to recruit an assassin, and he's going to be useful later on in my campaign. For now, we'll just have to recruit him and have him leveled up. As you can see, armies are marching into place. It's really a big pain, especially when you're having armies from long distances. My units are trying to replenish as they can. Some units are taking 4 turns, some are even more, but it is what it is. The United States is asking for me for a military alliance, and that is a no. I am eventually going to invade the United States. As a matter of fact, after I pacify the 7 provinces, I'm going to directly go to war with the United States. The reason is that if I do not go to war with the United States is going to snowball into this big, massive, powerful force. So I'd rather take them out in the beginning. The Koga asked for peace, but I'm going to obviously reject. The Mito are going to ask for peace, and still I'm going to reject. Once again, we're just looking what type of good factions there are. Path block, Fukushima stuff has been built, so that's great. I'm gonna have my big army move out, and I'm gonna have my smaller army come in. The army under Gunther, while Albert Friedrich is gonna be moving to attack the next city, or the next province, Hitachi to be exact. My navy is blockading the port, so that's interesting. They're not going to be making any army. Their so-called army is actually kind of it's very small compared to mine. I'm trying to have my troops come within movement range. I'm going to have my military advisor come to train because his path was blocked, and we're going to just go directly to the next turn. My lord, one of the sons of your loyal subject, a fine warrior, I am told, desires to prove his worth to you and the nation. As such, his request of opportunity to lead your glorious forces in battle. So a person wants to join my army as a general. Yes, because generals are very rare, especially in the late game, because in the late game, a lot of generals will die due to spies. So yeah, that's a problem. I'm gonna have Rolf, who is my son, to go into Fukushima, and he is going to be eventually needed. In case of a war between the Northern Alliance, I at least have a general in Fukushima. I'm moving just more troops to Shimakuzi. I'm actually scanning out to see what Koga has, but as of right now, my agent cannot reach. And we're gonna be attacking the Mito force. As a matter of fact, we're going to be assaulting the city right now. As you can see, the Mito force is basically a hilltop fortress, pretty similar to that of the European Motte and Bailey, but it's a little bit different. They put up a nice fence around essentially their castle. As you can see off the bat, I am having my mortars. Now, we just recently captured bombard the towers. They have some interesting parts of the fort that are sometimes fortified, sometimes they're not. But yeah, it's essentially a hilltop fortress, and as pretty small. As you can see here, my mortars are reloading after they fired a massive barrage, and we're just gonna wait for them to fire again. Once again, I really like the detail on these guys. These guys have been obviously been added by the team, the FOTS team, which once again they've been doing a really good job, especially with their uniforms of the European armies. The one that you're seeing right now is my Prussian line infantry. To the left is the Brunswick infantry, and followed by more colonial infantry. The one you saw that was wearing the dark blue was the Prussian Marines. And once again, all these uniforms are pretty beautiful. As you can see here, I have my colonial cavalry with colonial artillery 6-pounder, and we're just gonna be moving them on top of the hill, and that way we're just gonna solve the situation of bombarding the enemy fortress. Once again, as time goes on, we're just blasting the enemy's fortress. This time with mortars. As a matter of fact, you're gonna see a mortar attack right now, and it's gonna destroy the gate. That allows me to essentially just take the gate for kills. Actually, no, it allows me to take allows me to inflict horrific casualties on the enemy. What am I doing right now? My cavalry have finally gotten on the mountain. As you can see, my General Friedrich Albert is right here with his shining helmet. You can see on the right, we are having our artillery move into position, but they're not going to move in a long time. Finally, when they're in position, I ordered them to directly target the wall of the enemy forts, and that is going to help our infantry, who is down below about to open fire. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to shut up and have you guys watch this beautiful scenery. Once again, my infantry opens up. They are once again in fire by rank, and that allows them to essentially fire by every rank. It slows down their firing, but it maintains a gradual firing. If I did not have this unit in fire by rank, these guys will just be shooting all at once, which is great for dealing with enemy cavalry, but not great when dealing with a stationary unit that cannot fire back. In this case, the enemy militia, which is right here, as we can see, they are not getting any return fire because of their inadequate range. European armies have better range than Japanese ones, and that is just allowing me to devastate the enemy militia. As you can see, I am moving my cavalry back to protect my mortars. I had a fear that the enemy was going to sally out a cavalry unit, and that was going to mess up my plan because I still need to rely on my mortars. The second they are out of ammunition, I can essentially throw them away. However, I do still need them for the next battle, so I really still have to protect my mortars. As you can see, another volley just came off. And here's the effect of that massive mortar volley. It just destroyed another gate, and this time you can see a lot of people flying. The fortress, the so-called fortress, I call it a small town, is essentially ablaze. Most of the walls of the entrance is pretty much destroyed. My artillery is just opening fire on these guys. And these guys are taking horrific casualties while not being able to respond to my men opening fire. Finally, I decided to move up my army, well, my elite army. The 3 units of colonial militia that have been firing this entire time is the unit I'll be sending in first. This army, this massive block of units, basically my better elite units, are just going to be seen as the stationary army. Once again, my colonial infantry are just firing at will. Most people will think this is already overkill, and I do think it is overkill. However, when I go into melee, I really wish I can keep doing that overkill. But anyway, we'll just keep watching this sequence of firing. And by the way, if you guys are wondering, fire by rank has been added in by the team, so I'm very thankful for that. Once again, as you can see by now, the enemy militia is all but dead. And I'm still opening fire with my artillery and my muskets, which is something I shouldn't be really doing because they're gonna be out of ammunition, but hey, in this battle I have more than enough ammunition. Once again, another shot of the scenery by my artillery crew. This time, this artillery is actually a 6-pounder colonial artillery. It's not the best artillery I can bring, but it is the best artillery I have right now in the game. Once again, this mod is very gorgeous in the scenery, and Shogun 2 itself originally is gorgeous, but adding this mod makes it even better. As you can see, we can see the devastation on the enemy Yari Ashigaru, which is once again given spears, and men are essentially flying to my cannonballs. Sometimes field artillery can be tricky, sometimes it doesn't kill, sometimes it kills a lot. It just, as a matter of fact, luck. As you can see now, I'm pushing up my colonial infantry. The first 3 are going to be the first ring that enters the combat. And I thought I did a pretty good job of clearing the enemy on the first stage. Well, guess what? I wasn't. As you can see here, well, most of you can't see, but you can see on the top wall there are Yari Ashigaru, but behind them on the second layer of the wall, the better layer of the wall, you have some levy infantry ready and primed at this massive blob of mine. And as a matter of fact, the closer I get, they're gonna open fire because they're finally in range. However, the good thing for me is that once I am in range and they start opening fire, it's not gonna be devastating because essentially these guys have just been given a gun at the earliest minute. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have a clean shot of them opening fire at my men. Once again, most of these guns that you see are Portuguese guns from literally 300 years ago, so I'm gonna have an advantage with modern European weaponry. And first off the bat, the first unit that comes in is once again colonial militia, and the second I go through the gate, I order the retreat because the enemy cavalry is the enemy general, to be exact, that's coming straight out at me. And to make it worse, the enemy Yari Ashigaru forms Yari Wall, which is pretty impressive. It's hard for me to deal with, especially in melee. but that gives my artillery time to open fire on these Yari Ashigaru and the general.
One of your units can no longer fire, General.
Finally, I decided to go in for all assault with one unit, beginning with one unit. How do I say this in a nice way? My units are not gonna do very well, especially in this situation. The enemy cavalry is charging out, and the enemy Yari Ashigaru is actually holding pretty well. Once again, Yari Ashigaru in regular Shogun 2 used to be very good, very impressive, because they can hold for a long time, especially in Yaru Wall. As you can see, with that, I ordered my two other blocks of men to essentially charge at the enemy through this gate. But unfortunately for me, the gate is serving as a choke point, and I cannot move my troops through. So I finally decided to have my troops withdraw. Two units of colonial infantry go down the hill, so that one unit of colonial infantry can deal with the enemy cavalry and the enemy Yari Ashigaru. However, as you can see on this slope of the hill, you have all my elite units: colonial infantry, Brunswick infantry, Prussian line infantry, and Prussian marines. All, once again, very elite units. Once again, seeing the fight, my units are getting badly mauled. Their morale is dropping, but I'm still doing a pretty good job of killing the enemy Yari Ashigaru. They are European units after all. These guys are professional soldiers. And against Japanese militia, trained to hold spears at the last minute, it's not gonna be a fair fight. However, that said, due to the constant pressure that the enemy is throwing at me with even more Yari Ashigaru, my units are breaking. Which I did expect, but I was trying to lure the Yari Ashigaru of the enemy out, and here they come out of their fortress. And instantly I'm gonna counter charge. I actually ordered my troops to fire at the Yari Ashigaru, but for some reason my troops kept running up into a charge formation, and they're just now gonna charge the enemy. Don't get me wrong, I'm still having a good time against the Yari Ashigaru, despite me being fighting a uphill battle. And as you can see in the background, the enemy cavalry is moving down the slope to chase my units, and they instantly get dissuaded by a volley from my Prussian marines. Back on the slope of the fortress, we eventually make the Yari Ashigaru run, and now we have a clear access to the fortress. At least the first tier of the fortress. As you can see, my entire army at this point is moving up, or most of my army is moving up. So we're just gonna attempt to storm through and create as much havoc as we possibly can. As you can see, however, the only road up to the fortress is this one road, so it's gonna get quite cloggy. And as of right now, the enemy is not giving us any massive defenses. Most of their units have been killed by attempting to sally out, and I am just moving through. The enemy infantry is opening fire on us, but once again, these guys are holding muskets from 300 years ago, so that's going to be a problem, essentially. For them, not for me. Once again, about the gate, my troops are once again clogging up. It's not a pretty sight. If the enemy were using modern European weapons, a lot of troops would have been dead. However, the good thing for the enemy in this case is that they have this massive arrow tower, which arrow tower, it acts more like ancient machine guns, because as you guys can see, these arrow towers are firing so rapidly, it's actually kind of insane. No regular Japanese bowman can even fire this quick, so yeah, there's a problem. However, we are just storming through the fortress. This is actually the final keep, and I sent in once again my colonial infantry, and we're just facing off against some levies, spear levies, and we're actually doing a pretty good job because once again we are professional soldiers fighting against Japanese conscripts essentially. However, we do get kind of forced back when the enemy sends in their professional soldiers, these katana wielding samurai, and we're actually going to be having a hard time because our bayonets can go through cloth, but they can't really go through armor. So, and the enemy general is coming through, charging his cavalry. Although it's not doing much, it is causing some fear amongst our ranks. And as a matter of fact, for those who don't know, in this mod, the FOTS team had to add in all bayonet stabbing or killing scenes, as like this one. That one's with a pike, but this one is with a bayonet. And for those who don't know, in regular Shogun 2 followed with Samurai, there is no bayonet, so the team had to add in bayonets. And as a matter of fact, they have to add in the animations for said bayonet, which is what we're seeing right now. And once again, this is just to show you guys how well the team has been performing. But back to the battle, this is the part in which most, like, it's bodies upon bodies of men just like fighting each other. It's getting pretty bloody, and I once again do have Rain of Blood turn off because it's just gonna be helpful to see the amount of dead bodies, and not see this massive blob of red, which I don't really want to see. On the right, we do have even more troops on doing stuff, but that's not really exciting. Our Brunswick infantry is just storming through the gate, and we are being helped and tormented by my own mortars. I saw this massive group clump up, and I told my mortars to open fire on this massive group of katana-wielding samurai. Good thing is that they open fire, the bad thing is that they hit the enemy unit, and also my units, which is a pain. So we are going to get some instances of friendly fire. On this side, as you can see, we are being pushed back by the enemy spearmen. But once again, as you can see in the back, I am being reinforced by more colonial infantry. Hooray. We're just gonna send them right back, and yeah, we're actually charging straight back through. And now with my Prussian infantry here, we're just gonna push them even more back. For some reason, I did order those units to retreat. I think they're running, as a matter of fact, running away from the battlefield. But that doesn't really matter because I have my Prussian line infantry right here at the right moment to essentially carry on the day. Eventually, after a massive slog, we do win this battle. However, it looks like we lost a lot of men, but in the battle results, it actually says we lost 286 compared to the enemy 1,200. And instantly, our general levels up. We are going to peacefully occupy, and Friedrich Albert has leveled up. I'm going to repair everything. My ship, who has been raiding the coast of, well, the port of Koga, is now ordered to stop. Actually, this is the Mito. And I am going to give this guy Aggressor and Accordion, because it instills fear into the enemy. What I don't get is, why does Accordion in particular gets fear into the enemy? You can play music and then make them scared, but that it just doesn't make sense for me. But hey, it's Shogun 2. What can you do? On to the next turn. During the end turn sequence, Koga wants peace, and I reject. path blocked, and the reason why his path is blocked because I just entered the city, so I'm just gonna have him go into the city to supervise recruitment. The Koga only have Shimoza, and that's not scary at all when my ships can literally bombard Shimoza from the port. But however, it is going to take time for me to get there. In terms of my army that can actually move, my entire army mostly can move. However, there are some units left and right that need to be put on garrison duty. So however, my attacking army is actually kind of small. However, with my newly conquered provinces, I am going to be moving some elite units to bolster my army led by my faction leader, Friedrich Albert. Once again, during the end turn sequences, the good thing about Shogun 2 is that if you want your units to move, they will actually move for you. And Boris, who's our spy, wow, are you sure he's German? But like, Boris, our spy, is scouting out the United States for me because eventually my eyes, my aim, my rifle is pointed literally at the United States. I'm going for them the second the 7 provinces are pacified. And yep, we're just gonna go to Shimoza. Once again, my unit of lifeguards is gonna be sent to Hitachi, and lifeguards once again should be really in the front lines of the battle because lifeguards are probably the most insane unit that that Prussia has in the game. Once again, my fleet is just moving into position to attack their port, which serves as to help my army when it attacks the city to bombard it, and it also helps in the fact that we can attack their port and this does not allow them to raise a navy, which is defeatable but a pain. In the end turn sequence, you saw that the Koga wants peace, I rejected, and at the beginning of this turn, we saw that the United States and the Statue Alliance have broken off their alliance, which is great. As one of the big things that you want in this game is that you want your enemies to be divided. We're gonna continue the siege, and we're just gonna wait for our advisor to come. I'm going to just mass up all my armies into one big army, and I'm going to wait for the enemy to come out and sally out, if they do. As you see there, I was trying to select one of the most healthiest units to go to aid my large army. Shimoza is, Shimokoza, I think that's how you say it. Its population is pretty happy. You can see right now I'm trying to bombard Shimoza, but because this is only 18 guns, it's not going to do much. We're going to go to the next turn, and once again, good thing about Shogun 2 is that the enemy units are coming. Also, during the entrance sequence, the Koga defenders are trying to sally out, and that is not going to be a problem, especially in a field battle, but that is going to be on the next episode. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Now before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I will be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.